Okay, that was fun.
You're facing a North Carolina team this week that goes very fast and has a lot of weapons and has been prolific on offense at times. Kind of, what do you see and what do you have to kind of slow down there to have a fighting chance?
So that's it. So Phil Longo's offensive coordinator does a great job everywhere he's been. He's scored a bunch, had explosive offenses everywhere he's been. So very talented roster. Everybody knows that North Carolina's record from last year is not indicative of their talent. They're coming off 2 seasons ago where they're the elite college football team. So all the talent's still there and they're piecing it together. I would even say their 2-3 record is not indicative of how well they played at times. Lost some late games. Obviously, it was a 2-point play away from beating Clemson last week. So to answer your question, they will press the tempo. So they will go fast, which is very common in college football. We can't get blinded by the fact that at the end of the day, even though they're a spread tempo offense, they want to run the football. They have the size of offensive linemen and our Power 5 offensive linemen. They're huge up front. They have different body types than we have right now, so they are going to want to establish the run. And now they've got a quarterback that they feel good about. It's 5 games through his freshman season that has arm talent. So he has elite arm strength. At some point in every game, he has thrown it over the secondary's head. So they've been able to establish the run, go fast, max protect, and then Howard's had a chance to take shots. Even in the first drive versus Clemson this past week, they double moved and scored on a touchdown to allow themselves to create momentum early in the game versus Clemson to go up 7-0 in the very first drive. So again, to your point, we practice against that all the time. Even today, we went through a fast ball period. Dave and the offense did a phenomenal job of pressing the tempo to make us get lined up quickly, to make us get calls from the sideline, communicate, and execute. Again, offenses go fast so that we can't be in the perfect call and so that we don't get lined up and execute. So we practice versus the tempo, versus good on good, and then of course we're versus the developmental period and our look squad. We make sure that we press the tempo, have multiple players ready, 2 cards ready, and then press the tempo ready. So, but at the end of the day, we have to slow it down at some point, make sure that we're fitting the runs correctly to stop the run, and hold up, and then we're able to hold up, and then we're able to take shots, like we were this past run, take shots, and the secondary is doing a nice job of holding up in those situations. So we've made people earn their drives. We've got to do a much better job of stopping everyone, every series. We've made people earn drives. And to Coach's point, I just walked in the back. Since the first games, we've done a great job of correcting explosives. We still had them. There's still 2 touchdowns from last week. We're just playing with the correct leverage in the back end, and those are not touchdowns. But since the first game where we did allow explosives versus the Clemson team, we've been able to improve that every week and make offenses earn every drive that we give.
Miles Sims naturally came in late. How has he done in catching up with what you're trying to do out there, and what have you seen from his performance?
Yeah, so you say late, I believe he was actually in by the 3rd series. So that was part of our play the players as we go on Thursday. He's a freshman. He's a freshman. He was cleared the day before the Clemson game. Maybe snuck a couple of snaps in. He went to South Florida, and then going into game 4, getting past the triple option, was going into game 4. Again, he's the body type that we're looking for. He's got to improve every single day. He's made huge improvements. He's got to improve in every phase of his life and make sure that he's detailed. But as far as just talent, ability, and body type, it's exactly what we want him to look like. So he was able to hold up with 2 shots, I believe. He's got to make sure that he plays clean with his hands and is not grabbing and making himself susceptible to a pass interference, which we gave up this past week. Pleased with his development, and he's the type of young man that just gives you so much hope every single week moving forward and motivates you and keep going. We've got that young man for 4 more years, 3 more years, including 4 more years, including this season. He's got a chance to be a special talent. He continues to improve and make progress like he has from week 1 to week 4, now going to 5.
John, and then Ken.
Coach, can you talk about your first year coaching David Curry? Obviously, it's your first year coaching him, but what he's meant and what he's meant to the younger guys in the linebacker room.
Sure, he's I'd say he's the backbone of our room, the linebacker room, and then if not the defense. He makes coaching easy. If you had 1,000 David Currys, you'd be a pleased coach. Probably have a lot more hair, a lot less gray hair for the guys that get aged in this and seasoned in this profession. He's just a consummate professional, and he's that way with every phase of his life. He is just an unbelievable model of being a Georgia Tech student athlete. I can't speak highly enough of him as a man. And I skip past the young man. We've got a bunch of young men on our team. He's a man. He's become a man, and he handles himself very well. It's been really cool to see him be productive. He's leading the team in tackles. He's had a bunch of production as well. Probably leads the linebacker, not probably, leads the linebackers in snaps as well. And there's just time. There's been so many critical situations and close games where I just don't feel like I can take him off. As much as we try to above the line depth chart it, as much as we try to wave people and roll people in and out, just the calming presence, and the confidence presence, and the experience presence he has to be the Mike linebacker, which is the emotional leader, the communication leader on the field, and kind of the heart and soul of the defense. That would be the way that I would describe him. He's fearless. He does not care who we play. And at the end of the day, he's a great teammate. He takes care of his business. When somebody does that, then they can start being a great teammate and take care of their teammates as well, bring them with him, which is something that he put more on than he's got to improve that. He does his job, make sure he brings his teammates with him and holds them to a high standard that he lives by. Very pleased with his production, and just can't speak highly enough of him as a young man. He's a wonderful coach.
Ken?
Regarding what Mike mentioned about the past season, that was obviously very good on the other hand, and delivering probably not where he wants.
Sure.
Is that kind of a reflection, I would imagine, of just kind of where the strength of the season is in the back, and what can you do to kind of get the money?
Sure, we got to stop the run. So to your point, Kim, we got to stop the run at times. I'm saying we make people earn drives. We have the explosives are down, the explosive runs, the explosive passes. To our credit, the secondary on the max protection, play action, the shots, we've been able to minimize those gains. We gave up the first third down of the game for the longest pass, and then outside of that, we gave up a perimeter screen to number 2 Isaiah Wright this past week, which was the second most yards. After that, I think the third highest pass was an 11 9-yard hitch on the backside. So we've done a nice job, and then even on the first drive, after they were able to drive down on us, we got into the red zone. We didn't panic, we put the ball down, and continued to play. Caleb Wilder was able to come away with an interception in the end zone and try to create some momentum for our team. But to your point, when we find deficiencies, we find things we need to improve stopping the run. So the first period we have today was team run. It is 20 straight plays of defending the run. And then to the point of getting them in negative situations and creating more sacks and being more efficient on third down, we have to create more negative plays early in downs, on first and second downs. Although we're not allowing as many explosives, we're not creating negative plays early on downs to get them in second and long behind the sticks, to get them in third down situations where we can create sacks and be more aggressive on passing downs. So certainly something we spend a lot of time on. Part of it we part of the scheme, and most of it is just technique fundamentals, making sure we're got you set on, making sure we can move with our defensive line up front to create negative plays early.
How much of the point attack?
Say that again?
How much of the run defense is being better at point of attack?
A lot of it is it's point of attack and setting edges. So having force players, making sure you're not allowing the ball to get out. 2 touchdowns in the red zone because we didn't have force players, guys setting edges. Point of attack is the big piece of it. Allowing those guys to not sit and catch in all of our defenses so they can move and attack, get into the backfield. Big challenge this week with this offensive line to be able to do that. Again, although they're going to go fast, we know they're going to want to establish the run. So unbelievably huge more businesses for us.
Time for a couple more, Rod and Tori.
Going back to the linebackers, Charlie Thomas, I think people saw last year that he was a playmaker, and you moved him into linebacker. Has he progressed to the point where he could be an every down guy, in other words, against the run and the pass?
Yeah, and he is right now. On offense, you're trying to find your playmakers. How do we get the ball in their hands? On defense, you're trying to find the most disruptive players. Again, for us to get the offense off schedule and behind the chains, we have to have disruptive plays. I don't think our chaos index isn't as high as I would like it. It's nowhere high as it needs to be. When we've created chaos or when we've created negative plays, Charlie Thomas has been the guy on the attack quite often. I think he obviously had the safety. I think he leads the team in sacks. He leads the team in forced fumbles right now. I think he leads the team in TFLs. I'm not mistaken. So just his ability to be disruptive and create negative plays is huge for us. So yes, to your point, he's an every down linebacker. Bruce George-Swilling and Wes Jackson, the guys are allowing him to play really, really fast when he's in there, backing him up at a high level. But again, just very pleased as far as a disruptive player. We've got to find more of those as we continue to develop.
Tori, last one.
You talk about limiting explosive plays and progress that you've seen in that. When you cut on the tape, is there something specifically that you can say in game one we didn't do as well as we did this past weekend as far as maybe it's scheme, maybe it's coverage, or maybe it's just maybe one specific player who's making that?
So it's scheme, and then we talk a bunch about leverage, which is just a football parlance term. But to every single defense, there has to be width to the defense. So there has to be someone to set an edge on every run. And then even in our pass coverage, we talk about leverage being a big piece. So the 90-yard run that we gave up to Travis Etienne, we had two players that should have had the correct leverage. They should have tackled the ball on the left shoulder. He bounced all the way out to the sideline. We had two players on the wrong side of the ball carrier. So we allowed an explosive run. So those have been the little things that, as we've continued every single week to have us a chance to get real downs and real experience in a defense, and then just having so many young players out there playing, they went through those tough tests, and they've made those mistakes, and they've improved those. Again, I mentioned it, even though in the red zone, we had two of those mistakes again. So we come in on a Sunday, and it's Tell the Truth Sunday, and we're very tough on them in those situations and their accountability, making sure that we learn from those mistakes so that they don't happen again. So I don't think it's one individual. I think it's the way in which we're teaching, the way in which they're responding to the teaching to get them out of those plays. And then to be quite honest, the secondary has won a bunch of one-on-ones. They just have. They have, and that's a credit to them. It's a credit to Coach Bob, and specifically out on the edges at corners. We put them in tough situations, and they held up out of the perimeter. When they do that, that allows us to put more people closer to the line of scrimmage to help us stop the run. So we've got to continue to do that. And as always, anytime as far as huge explosives, the safeties are always your erasers. So they get the ball down. Even when we misfit a gap, we're not perfect. And our run fits are perfect in pass coverage. Safeties have to knock and get the ball down. And the Tariq Carpenters, the Wanye Thomases of the world, Christian Campbells of the world have been able to get those down. Another example of that, the very first 3rd and 7, we gave up a big play. We get a big play. It's a big, a shallow. Number 18 for Temple catches the football. He runs up. The post safety actually misses the tackle. Wanye Thomas is 15 yards from where the guy catches the football. He chases him down all the way across the field, gets him down. It wasn't explosive, but because of his effort in erasing the football, 3 plays later we were able to get the interception in the red zone and live to play another series and not allow them just put the ball down and continue to play. So those are racers in the back end as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.